Okay, what we're going to talk about today is how to unjam a typical Mills antique slot machine. This is a Mills Castlefront. It was made in the mid-1930s and is very representative of a Mills machine. This style of machine has an escalator which shows you the last 5 coins that were played. And Mills machines that were made from the early 30s all the way up into the 50s all have this style of escalator, and the mechanism is very similar. The machines that are pre 1930 have what's called is a gooseneck style mech, and we'll have a separate video to discuss how to unjam that. This machine is called a Mills Castlefront. This machine is not jammed right now. It's a machine I restored about 14 years ago, but I'll show you where common jams occur. The number one thing to do or not to do if you've got an antique slot machine and it's jammed is don't force it. If you pull the handle and it locks up for some reason, don't just try and pull the handle. You've got a lot of leverage with this handle, and if you continue to pull it hard, something will give, and that will probably result in a broken part somewhere in the mechanism, and then you're in a lot of trouble. Most jams occur in the escalator, and they usually occur about halfway through the cycle, like right there. And when you're pulling the handle down and it just locks up, just release the handle, and I'll show you where to look. So we'll go ahead and cycle this. So if this machine were jammed, the first thing you want to do obviously is open up the back of it. So we take out the door. The next thing you want to do is pull off the bonnet. The bonnet is the back half on the very top, and there's these 2 clasps that hold it in place. So you just lift them up and then just grab the bonnet like this and kind of angle it up and lift it out. The reason you need to angle it up is there's a pin right here and it connects into the bonnet. So you cannot just pull it straight out. You've got to lift it out like that. Now I'm going to zoom in on the escalator a little bit and kind of guide you through what you need to look at. Okay, here's a close-up of the escalator. Like I said before, 90% of your jams are probably going to be in the escalator. When you put a coin in, it enters at this point, and then it follows this path where these holes are, and it should come to rest right there where the red light is. So we'll go ahead and put a nickel in there, and sure enough, it fell down there. When you cycle the machine, this part here, that's the mechanism, will pull down on this lever, which will force the coins to move as you're facing the back of the mechanism to the left 1 position. This pin here is the coin detector pin. And the way the mechanism works, when you pull the handle, this vertical lever here will push in this bar. And if this bar can go in, it knows there's not a coin being played. If there's a coin right there, then this pin will hit the coin, prevent this lever from going forward, and it will allow the machine to be played. Many times, especially if your machine has not been restored, if it's 40, 50, 60 years old, it's kind of gummy, these levers here will not move freely. They'll just stay forward. This is probably the number 1 cause of machine jams on machines that have not been cleaned. If this lever stays forward, then when the coin comes down, it will not fall into place because this pin is not far enough back, and as more coins are put in, they'll just jam up. So if you're looking at your escalator and if this horizontal bar does not move back and forth freely, all you need to do is remove this cotter key. Once you remove the cotter key, you can remove these 2 springs, and then these 2 levers can come out. You can take some alcohol or WD-40 or whatever and clean it up, get all the old gunk off, and make sure this moves back and forth. Another common problem is this pin. If you look right here, there's a set screw. If you loosen that screw, you can move the pin forward or backwards. Sometimes that pin will not be properly adjusted, so if it's too far forward, it will cause the coins to jam. If it's too far back, it'll not detect the coin properly. So what you need to do is you put a quarter in there, turn the set screw counterclockwise half a turn or whatever so this pin is free, and make it so it's almost touching the coin but not quite. Then you tighten it up and you're good to go. The other problem you might have is this top lever. This is the Czech detector lever, and I'm not going to go into what the Czech detector does, but it's similar to the coin detector. It's got to move freely. If it stays forward and doesn't come back, it's going to cause the coins to jam up. Another side effect with these Mills escalators is they like to have coins in them. It shows the last 5 or 6 coins played. If they only have 1 or 2 coins in there, sometimes you'll get binding in here and the escalator won't work properly. But if you can get 5 or 6 coins in there, then it will work. If you have a bunch of coins that are just jammed up and you can't get them out, then what you need to do is pull the mechanism out. And that's what I'll show you how to do next. To pull the mechanism out is very easy. There's these 2 levers that hold it into place. There's one on the left, one on the right. Sometimes on a Mills machine there'll be a nut or a bolt that goes right through here and into the bottom base plate. If there is a bolt here, then you need to take a wrench and take it off. I've seen this bolt in place more often on the gooseneck style machines and the early machines than on the later machines, and later I mean mid-30s or later. So in this case there is no bolt here. We've got the 2 levers up. To pull the mechanism out of the machine is very simple. Take your hand, put it underneath the operating fork like this, put your thumb right here, you lift straight up, and then just pull it straight back. Sometimes this thing can be really locked into place hard, and if you take a screwdriver, just put it underneath the mechanism and just lift it up like that. That'll sometimes be more helpful. Usually you don't need to do that. Once you get the mech out, and this probably weighs about 45 pounds or so, then you can put it on your workbench and work on the escalator. So I'm going to set the mech aside. And so now we can look at the escalator without the mechanism in there.